You're listening to Punisher Waterfowls, the Union 0430 podcast. Brought to you by Real Geese Decoys, the most technologically advanced silhouette decoy on the market. First Light, the best hunting gear on the planet. Go farther, stay longer. And Ducklander Calls, tradition, education, and quality. Built to hunt.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Union 0430. This is episode 162. And if you're watching, you can see we've managed to stop someone's scout tonight and managed to get them to pull off on the side of the road and have a chat with us. So we've got Aaron ODell with us tonight. Ontario boy, but guiding out west right now. So just set up, helped a young fella get set up a younger guide, and he's scouting and thought he would come on and have a chat with us. So thanks for coming on, Aaron, buddy.
No, yeah, I really appreciate your time. I mean, this is great.
No worries. I wanted to take a quick moment to thank before we get going here. It's something that I never do, but I really should be doing it, and that is taking a moment just to thank our sponsors for the show, which is First Light, Real Geese, and Ducklander Calls. Without them, this would be real hard to do. So thanks to them. So, Aaron, buddy, we've got a pile of people listening. In Ontario right now, the temperatures are just absolutely insane, and we're not going to see any migration anytime soon, it looks like. What's it looking like out in Alberta, buddy?
Yeah, that's what I hear. I got people back home. Everybody's saying that hunting's been tough. They're hunting in t-shirts, tank tops. Like, it's really tough right now to track birds. Not a lot of crop even down.
No, well, I drove around today. I seen beans being taken off. But that's the first day I've seen beans taken off. Now we've got a bunch of rain coming up for the next week and a half, so maybe they're trying to get them off before the ground gets saturated. But it was 27 degrees Celsius here today, so that's about 90 degrees Fahrenheit, I think. So you know, we're in the first week of October. We shouldn't be having those temperatures.
No, yeah, it's crazy. Up here we're seeing, like, it's been real warm too. Like, I mean, right now it's 7 because we got some crazy wind rolling through.
Right.
But I mean, we've been up in the high teens since the season started pretty much. And same with not a lot of crop coming down quick, mostly just barley. We're just starting to see corn coming down now.
Okay.
Little bit cut. I'm sitting in front of a cornfield still standing right now.
Wow.
But the migration's definitely been, I think, slower this year. But still a good hatch. The bird numbers are still there. I mean, we're seeing speckle bellies like crazy right now.
Really?
They're just, they seem to be flooding this area.
We seen a report earlier in the year, and I think it was Delta that put it out. So probably like a month and a half, 2 months ago. And they were saying that we had a really, really good hatch this spring. So duck numbers should be up. Talking to a few fellas that I know that are out hunting right now, and other guides that are out there. They're saying the same thing about specks, like just tons of specks, tons of snows around right now. Canada's, they haven't been seeing, obviously the migration haven't started yet, so no Canada's coming down from the north yet.
No, yeah, we're still even seeing a lot of those local geese, a lot of those, I mean, since September 1st, a lot of those geese that are still here, the Canadas, they've seen every decoy spread, every blind setup from here to Northwest Territories. Like, they've seen it all so far. So until we get some of these cold weather birds to push in, and with this north wind we've got, I'm hoping that we start to see more birds and don't lose birds.
Yeah.
But if we get some more birds pushed in, the Canadas will, I mean, the ducks always follow.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we got to we were talking and stuff, and you're from Ontario, originally from Ontario. you're out west guiding, and you've been doing it since you've been 18 years old. How old are you right now?
I'm 23, just turned 23 in June.
23. So 5 years you've been doing this, since
Yeah,
18
and I was
years
doing
old.
it for free before.
Oh, awesome. Um, it's got to be pretty intimidating, I would think, as an 18-year-old kid, um, to come out west, and and let's face it, this is where the big boys come out to play. This is where the serious money is spent on hunting birds and stuff like that. So as an 18-year-old kid, and I didn't know you at that time, but I know what I was like at 18 years old, and I don't think I could have been able to, guide a bunch of men. And it's a demanding job. Like what was some of the early, I guess, early lessons that you learned at 18?
Yeah, no, for sure. When I was 18, and I mean, when I told when I went to my mom and I said, I'm gonna go, I'm going to Saskatchewan to meet a guy I've never met before, who I talked to online, who has a lodge and the best goose hunting around, and I get to sit in the field and call, and I get to be on camera, and I get to do all these cool events, and I was just ecstatic. But then I got in my truck to leave,
Yeah,
and I was shaking at the bits. I was
I bet.
terrified to get there. I mean,
Of
I was
course, I bet.
excited, but I was terrified. I mean, you like to think that you're farther in the sport than you always are, and I
Mm-hmm.
was thought I knew it all, and I had the geese at my fingertips. I just needed the geese to be there. I just needed the birds. But boy, did I get a wake up call when I got there.
I bet.
But yeah, so I mean, so like it's hard. First of all, you're away from home, so that's
Mm-hmm.
like the biggest thing. Um, and you start out slow, like you're scouting a lot to
Yeah,
start. You're not in that blind every single day. You're not hunting every day that you get to. You're not shooting personally, right? Too
yeah,
either.
yeah.
So it's that's a huge lesson to take back and take the sport for what it is and really
Mm-hmm.
enjoy it and get to I realized really quick that my enjoyment from the sport really comes from watching other people have their enjoyment.
Yeah,
Putting them on the birds, watching them shoot their first duck or first goose, first band, all those firsts and all those just being in the prime spot for hunting. Having
yeah,
those guys get to come and experience that. Some guys that have only ever shot six ducks,
yeah,
shot five every time they go out. It's awesome to see. That's where I fell in love with it, with the guiding part of it.
yeah. Like our one of our buddies that comes on the show here, Ryan Bro, he was in Saskatchewan and guided with Daryl Gilbert with on Garrows. Um and Ryan's from Nova Scotia, and he went up there and guided for a season, and that was one of the things he had said that he just loved being out there watching everybody else, the laughs and the I guess the wins when they would triple up on birds, or they would knock down a neck collar, or whatever that joy was. He said he got a lot of satisfaction out of that from being the guide. But the one thing you had said, when you were just talking there, and I think this is something that's important for any aspiring guide, that I think they need to understand, because maybe it's not quite laid out for them when they go out there. But you had said you had spent a lot of time scouting. Like, you're not going to be the 18, 19-year-old kid, or the first season with an outfit, and you're not going to get the honey hunts. You're
Yeah,
you're beating the roads, right? Like, you got to put your time in. It's no different than any other job. You got to put your time in and show your ability, and I guess just put your time in.
yeah. You've got to have that time, and like I mean, it all comes with time. Your knowledge will all come with the experience,
Yeah,
but you've got to be able that first year, I'd say 2 years, you've got to show you've when you've gone with the guy who's been doing it for five, and you go into the field and he sets a decoy spread. Okay, well now in the morning, that guy shouldn't have to set that decoy spread again. You should be able to go follow his game plan, know how he talks, set that spread for him while he deals with blinds, hide.
right.
More important stuff, kind of keep the clients busy, keep the clients out of the decoy spread,
Right. Yeah.
is what
No,
I like
no,
to say. Because
absolutely. And
Because
that's
I mean, every guy's got the way they like to do it.
yeah, no, that's something I don't think I've ever really thought of. Um, and that's pretty interesting that you bring that up when you say, if you're the, I don't know, I'll say the helper for the actual
Yep.
guide, um, you're expected to know these things because you're right. He's got other things on the go. He's got to get the hide set up. He's got to get everybody brushed in, try to keep the clients out of the decoys and putting their touches on it and making sure that they're ready. The last thing he wants to do is have to deal with his helper, making sure that his helper is doing the things that he wants, right? So that's pretty interesting that you brought that up because I never really ever thought about it.
Right. Like we always say is the sun waits for nobody in the morning. That sunrise is going as fast as it feels like it. So
Yeah,
you better keep up with it
yeah. No,
because
good
it's a lot
point.
better to be looking at it than for it.
So tell us about, like, 18 years old. So, and just correct me if I'm wrong here, but you were graduating high school, and then the world's at your fingertips. You got, you know, every option in the world available to you for you to go and do whatever it is. And at 18, you said, screw it, I'm going out west. This is what I want to do. Um, how did it come to that? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, was college
Yeah.
ever an idea?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, so when I was growing up, I was really into like heavy equipment operating and
Yeah,
construction, excavating to be like more specific. But
yeah,
so I did that from like 12 years old all the way through because it gave me lots of time to hunt at night in the afternoons and stuff
yeah, yeah,
and get out and meet farmers and whatnot. But so I did that at a very pretty young age and all through high school. And I was dead set in grade 9 that Fleming in Lindsay, right near my
yeah,
house, has a great excavating program. And so I really wanted, I think I was going to do that. I was dead set and going to get my ticket. I'm going to get red sealed. I'm going to work heavy equipment.
yeah,
And about I want to say grade 10, uh, around, we were playing high school hockey and I was in the grind at work. Like we had been putting in 14-hour shifts. I was still going to school. Like I was doing co-op. So I was doing
yeah,
14-hour shifts, getting my credits. And I was just crushed and trying to play hockey at night. And one of the guys said, they're like, man, like, why don't you look into guiding? Why don't you look into like making a career out of it? Like I know that's what, like you're really into hunting.
yeah,
And I was like, like I think you have to kind of get like brought into that. Your family's gotta own a guide service or you gotta know
right.
someone. Like that's pretty tough to make a career. And then I just kind of started looking into it a little bit more and talking
Okay.
to some guys that I hunted with on the weekends.
Yeah,
And so then after that season of just grinding at work, I was like, I do not want to do this anymore. And even on the good days, the best days of it,
yeah,
at the end of the day, like it's not what I want to do. I'm not the happiest. The happiest I am is when I'm hunting and when I take my buddies out and like they try to give me money for taking them out and getting them on a hunt.
yeah.
So I ended up just looking into it. Went in on Indeed, found a guide service
Really?
that was looking for a guide,
There you
and
go, everybody. Sorry,
I
I'm
just
cutting you off there, but there
yeah,
you
no,
go,
go ahead, go
everybody.
ahead.
There you go. If you're looking for a job, go on. I would never in a million years
Yeah.
thought to go on Indeed.
You know what's funny too is I went on there and I typed in this hunting guide
Yeah,
and I mean nothing came up. And
yeah,
then I put uh I think there was some kayaking outfitters and stuff like
right,
that, some
right.
whitewater stuff. So I'm like, like whatever, I don't want like cabin tours. Like, how do I be more specific?
Yeah,
So I just like I looked up best waterfowl hunts and it came up and I was 18. I didn't know they were called outfitters. I didn't know that was the thing.
right.
And so then once I learned, I'm like, okay, it's outfitting. This is kind of how the world works. Got a little bit more educated. I found one of the guy's ads and I was like, I'm gonna skip the middleman and I'm just gonna call them. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna send him a resume on this app. I'm gonna call him. His number's right here.
yeah,
So I gave him a call and Matt from Top Gun, he was great. He said, yeah, dude. all I want to hear is you send me a sound file of you banging on a call. You have your own pickup truck. You can get out here, uh, be here for opener. So I packed up and drove there for opener. And honestly, I've never looked back since. I've now with the between the fishing lodge and the two hunting lodges, and hopefully, we got hunts opening up in Ontario for next season. That I've got a full career out of it now. I'm full time
Wow,
um, guide now.
that's
No
amazing.
off
So,
season.
so, so Top Gun Outfitters, from 18 until now
Yeah.
has been the crew that you've been with. They took you
My
under.
main crew. Yeah.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing. So,
Yeah.
now you
Matt
pick.
and I got to shout out Matt and Jonathan Skaggs. Sorry there, but Matt
Yeah,
Costa and Jonathan Skaggs have been the two biggest, and Jeremy Howard, like the three. They've been the biggest helps in my career and like teaching me the most
awesome.
for sure.
No, absolutely. Give them a shout out and let people know about the outfit that you're with. You really piqued my interest when you said next year you're going to be doing some Ontario hunts.
Yep.
So what's that? Are you guys planning on opening a lodge here, or you're just gonna be operating out of here?
Yeah, me and a buddy are going to be operating under ODell Outdoors in mostly just southern Ontario right now. There's
Okay.
really no dead set location. We're going to be traveling quite a bit and putting
Yeah.
on hunts. I've got a few different places to stage lodging out of.
Okay.
Um, and then for the 2025 season, we're hoping to have turkey hunts also
Wow.
on top of that.
That's
Spring.
amazing, buddy. Good for you.
Yeah.
That's so so then so will you stay in Ontario all fall, or will you go out west for a bit and then come in Ontario?
I'm definitely gonna be. I'll be in Saskatchewan for the. I can't miss it. Can't miss
Yeah,
the
I
beginning of the
know. I
early
know.
season fall. It's too hard. I'm hooked now. I can't miss it. But
Of course.
my buddy will be running the first early season, that early season goose hunts,
Yeah.
the first 8 days or whatever, and then we'll be running probably the pretty much all of October in Ontario.
Okay. Awesome. Sorry, buddy. I got the phone was blowing up there for a second.
Or
For a second. No, that's amazing, buddy. I did want to talk to you about your dog Rusty, and you know this whole idea, this guide life, like you're like a nomad, right? Like you're just constantly on the go. Like you've got a space where you've got a bed space where you sleep at night, but you're just on the go, and it's a lot of days running the roads and the bit, and I know, and by no means am I a dog, and by no means am or I shouldn't say, by no means am I a guide. And I'm not running the roads like you, but my dog is in the truck with me, she's company, and I don't know, man. I tell my dog things I haven't told anybody else in the entire world. Um, and yet you get to, travel around with your dog all the time, and then he is with you in the field and he does all the work with you, and then you know what I mean, like it's got to be a pretty special relationship that you and your dog has.
no, yeah, for sure. He's actually pretty cool story too. He's actually from Nebraska.
Okay.
I actually had to drive to Nebraska to get him.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, he goes everywhere with me. He's in the field with me every hunt. I mean, there's not a situation that I don't figure it a way out to hide him and make him
Yeah.
invisible.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, he's 19 months old and is gonna be a killing dog. That's for sure.
Wow.
He
He's
is
19.
19 months and has really impressed me so far.
Wow, that's impressive. So 19 months, and he's, and his manners are good. When he's out hunting, he does what he's told.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like it's the ceiling is limitless for him, right? Like it's all as you well know, it's just repetition for dogs, right? So if you're just
for sure.
constantly, if you're hunting them and always setting them up for success, then he's going to be an amazing dog, and he's going to, he's years and years of tons of retrieves for you, and riding shotgun in the truck with you.
Yep. He's already put on lots of kilometers, that's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. I wanted to talk to you about, you had said to me that you've been guiding for a long time and you do a lot of stuff, right? Like your big game, your waterfowl, your fishing. You've been all over the place. You've been doing it for a long, long time, but ducks are still your passion. You know, how did I know the area that you're from? Um, and we're not, and you're not in a great flyway. Um, you'll see ducks, and
No.
you see some geese. There's some agriculture in your area. Um,
Yeah.
but it's still your passion, right? Of everything else that's on the go, it was those ducks, and that's what called you out west, and here you are 5 years later, and you're still doing it, and still listen. You're 25 years old, and you still look like you're 25 years old. So it's been a good run, because I know some fellas that the guiding life can take its toll on you, right? But um, how did that passion for ducks? How did that start from such an early age?
Yeah, no. For sure. My first I was hooked like most people. My first ever duck hunt. Um I was with actually my mom's brother, my uncle. He he asked me, he was living with us at the time, and he come to me and said, you want to come hunt with me and Matt? We're gonna hunt his pond behind his house. There's come wood ducks flying around, and you would you like to tag along? I just got my hunting license. I've been deer hunting with him since I was 4. I've been going with him since I was just a baby. And so he's like, yeah, tag along. Come on. I was like, all right, I'll come. So I go with them, and we're sitting on the edge of a pond. No like blind, no hide.
Yeah,
They never played the wind. They never set big decoy spreads. They just went out, sat on a pond, and shot crossing ducks and
yeah,
puddling ducks. And so I was standing there, and we had, I think it was just Lucky Duck had just come out with the double pack of spinners. You could get
yeah,
the 2 little mini juniors.
yeah,
And so my uncle had bought a set of those, and thanks, they're the coolest thing out there, right? So we got them spinning in the hole, maybe 2 4 packs out there with them. And these 4 wood ducks were just eating it up from across the pond, coming low and slow and just coming straight into it. And he was like, this is no better time to take a shot. So he
yeah,
gives me the gun, and I line him up, and there I got 2 out of the 4.
yeah,
So I was ecstatic. I think I was 12. I think I just got my hunt license.
yeah,
I was so ecstatic, and I got to watch he had a lab at the time. I got to watch the dog go out and get them, bring them back. And I don't think we saw another duck fly all day, the rest
yeah,
of that day. I think the guys at the other end of the pond shot 2 also. But we carried on. It was a great family thing. All of us got together, had a great time. And from that night on, I went to him every day and was like, are you guys going again this weekend? Are you guys
yeah,
going again this weekend? I got to come. I got to come. Well, he wasn't avid at it, so he wasn't going.
yeah,
So I called all my friends. I go, you guys got shotguns? Like, we got to go. We got to go find water. We got to go find somewhere we're allowed. Like, I don't know how we find out if it's legal, but we gotta figure this stuff out, guys. Like, it's the
yeah, yeah,
most fun. You'll have the most fun. And I think I may have got one of my friends into it. The rest
yeah.
of them said, no thanks, this isn't for me. I don't want to freeze my butt off in a pond and Cortas. But like you said, we're not on the greatest flyway. So it was that's how I think I fell in love with it. It was chip and go
Yeah,
and do what you can to find birds and get on birds. And it was really work. Like, I really enjoyed the pursuit of it. It wasn't like, well, everyone made it out to be. You go sit in a field and shoot your limit.
yeah,
And then also at the end of the day, it's not about that. It's just like big game hunting. It's sitting in the camp with the guys, the people you
absolutely.
surround yourself with. For me now, it's the clients in there. I mean, watching them have a great time. I mean, obviously, I can't stand it if we have a bad hunt, and that's not what
Of
we shoot
course,
for or aim for.
of course.
But it does happen as hunting. And when it
Yeah,
does, it's still, I mean, the other night I still had a good hunt. I mean, it wasn't great, but I posted about it and I said, like, you couldn't have had a better night with better people. Like, they were just a group of great guys. And I look forward to being in the blind with them again. Right. And that's
yeah,
what it's all about to me.
yeah. No, and I think, and we've talked about it on this show a lot, and as a guide, I think you would appreciate it a lot more, as well. but ducks and geese, it's like chasing them and hunting them. It's such a social hunt, right? Like it's not like deer where you're up in a stand and you got to be quiet and you got to sit still. Um, you know what I mean? Like you're able to talk, you're able to get up and move around when there's a lull in the battle, as I call it, and the whole bit.
Yeah.
And it is a very social, and it's a very social hunt, and it's also a very it's a great hunt to pick at your buddies. So especially when, you know, that one guy's been waiting for that stud Drake um pintail to come in, and you know, and I say this from experience, because as when I was in Saskatchewan, and my buddy Daryl Gilbert, he's like, okay, Damien, here he is, here's your pintail, and everybody sort of kind of put their guns down to let me get it, and of course I miss it, and then right, because that there's no way I was
Yep,
going to hit
that's
that. There's no way I was going to hit that bird. There was too much pressure on me then. But then, you know, and then now you got all your buddies that are making fun of you and having a laugh, and the whole bit. Like it is a sport unlike any other. And I get it when you said, you know, your friends, you couldn't get all of them into it because, let's face it, shitty weather is what we like the best for birds, and I get it. Some people
right.
just don't. But I would hazard to think that if you were able to bring someone that's never ever hunted ducks, and it's a horrible day weather-wise, but it's a banger of a hunt, I guarantee you they're hooked. Guarantee you they're hooked.
Snap.
Yeah,
Guaranteed. I've
100%.
seen it. I've watched it happen over and over and over again over the years. And like you said about poking fun in the blind, it's my favorite thing to see is when the guy brings his wife on the hunting trip. She's
Yeah,
never shot the shotgun. She's shot at the skeets before they come. Never shot at a duck. And you're watching them out of the corner of your eye, and they're crushing birds all day. And
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
awesome.
the clients, they don't know. They think they're flock shooting. They think they're all hitting them. But you're watching and you're going, your wife just outshot a poop out of you all day, and you can't keep up. It never
That-
fails either, every time. Or they do notice and they're pretty embarrassed about it. Their friends let them know about it.
Hey, that's awesome, man. Because well, I'm former military, and it was always a thing for us. And we used to always say it, like women are naturally a better shot than men, right? Like they don't overthink it. They just point, shoot. They don't overthink it. So they tend to be normally a better shot than what men is. So that's pretty funny, because I've never witnessed that where a couple is out hunting and then, you know, one is out shooting the other, because that would be pretty fun to be able to sit back and watch, and throw that throw that shade at the dude too, right? Hey, listen, buds, you might be lying in the tooth at this duck hunting, but your wife just outshot you all day. All
Right?
day. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome, dude. Um, I did want to talk to you about, you know, especially for some young guys, girls, because we've got friends, ladies, Emily Head, in Saskatchewan, who's guiding as well. Um, like, if someone come to me tomorrow and said, "Hey, Damien, I wanna get a job out west guiding," what has anything changed from when you started, as in the process to get going with a guide out west?
Oh, I wouldn't say the nah, that's a really good question. I wouldn't say that the process has so much changed. Um, I would say it might be easier to find an outfit now.
Right.
I see them popping up out here like crazy. It is nuts.
Really,
Like
eh?
the fires this year, they're just popping up everywhere. I can't believe it. How people are getting to buy in the zones and whatnot. Because I mean, out west is a totally different game to Ontario.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
mean, with zoning and whatnot. But
Well, yeah. So
no, I'd say definitely.
yeah, go
No, yeah,
for it,
go ahead.
buddy. Sorry. No, no, you go. You keep
No,
going.
yeah, just the young lads like getting into it for sure. Like I think the process is still the same. You've got to I mean, there's lots of guys that don't even advertise that they're looking for guides. So, I mean, don't hesitate to get on the. No guy's going to get upset you email them asking for a job. No one
Right.
ever is going to be upset if you're asking them for a job.
Right.
Message them, say, hey, I'm looking to get into this. I'm a first year. I may not be any use to you in the field. I
Yeah.
want to learn. I got a vehicle. I can put the miles on for you. You cover my gas. Nine
Yep.
times out of 10, that guy is going to use you for that season as a scout.
Yep. Yep.
You just there you go. To me, that you just got your in.
Yeah. Well, and
Be loyal to that guy. Stick around, and you'll make it.
that's a really good word that you just used, and one that I find isn't in a lot of people's repertoire these days, and that's loyal and loyalty. And listen, I get it, like especially if it's someone that's been a dick to you or they've screwed you over and stuff. Yeah, well, you don't owe that person any loyalty. But
No,
if the person has taken a chance on you, taken you under his or her wing, and has taken the time to teach you, well, hey, listen, you do you do owe them something. That's the way I feel about it. Anyways, I know some people will say, well, it's a job. They get, they use me as an employee. I use them as a employer, but I don't know, man. Like in this, it just seems like that's the attitude that you would have to have in order to succeed in your line of work, right? Like there has to be some loyalty there, because if there's no loyalty, and that works both ways, right? From the guide and from the outfitter, that works
yes,
both ways. Like, buddy, it could be a long, cold drive home if the outfitter just up and says, "Hey, yeah, this isn't working out." When you're in the middle of
yep.
when you're 2 hours north of Saskatoon riding,
With no money in your pocket.
yeah, you know what I mean, like that. So yeah, man, like it is loyalty. You need to have it, and you got to have a work ethic, right? And
Yeah, for sure.
understanding that you're not going to get the honey hunts your first season. Like you gotta beat the roads, and you got to show that you can
Yeah,
that you can do it, right?
you just said it right there. The biggest thing is you got to show that you want to do it and you want to be there, you want to learn, and that you are learning.
Yeah,
But yeah, just so you have the dedication to be there every day, every year, every season. You're checking up with them throughout the off season. Hey, we still good for this year. We got lots of clients booking.
yeah,
Can I post anything for you? Get the word out. What dates do we have? Do I need to book for you?
yeah.
Those guys will those guys will help you out for that stuff too. And
And
I
and
mean, experience ain't free.
no, no, of course not. You had mentioned it, like when you talked about Top Gun outfitting, and like they're out of the States and out of Canada as well, and they've been doing this for a long time, right? So
Yeah.
um, it's their name, and I'm not sure if people, when it comes to clients, and the clients flying in or coming in from wherever it is that they come in from, it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, they're paying a premium dollar, to be given the best chance at shooting birds, because it is hunting, like you said. Sometimes they're just not going to work for you, or they're just not there. But they, even when the birds aren't there, they expect the guide and the outfitter to do everything that is possible to make sure that they're getting on birds. And if the birds aren't there, then the birds aren't there. But it's not because of anything that the guide or the outfitter does.
No.
So, and that's what, and I don't know a whole ton about guides or outfitting out west or anything like that. But what I do know is that um, people that come out there with an outfit and they have a banger of a hunt, 9 times out of 10, they book for the next season. That is one of the most important things, I think, that I do know about this outfitting world is repeat and returning customers, returning clients, because now
Yep.
you've created a relationship with them. Like I've got buddies that have guided out there 1 or 2 years, and they still stay in touch with some of the clients that they've guided over the years.
Yep. I actually guided at my fishing lodge that I've been at this summer. I guided a guy who was 86 years old and had been coming to the lodge since he had been 18.
Are you?
So,
Whoa, that's crazy.
and me and him were just the two of us for 10 days, and he caught, what was it? I think it was 18 fish over 20 pounds on a fly rod at
Wow.
86.
Wow. Dude's in
But
shape.
this guy he'd been having a great time there for all those years. There's no reason for him to ever pick another lodge. He knew the guys, he got comfortable,
Yep.
and he kept coming back. And like we all have clients lists. Every guide has a client list, and that
Yep.
doesn't mean you're stealing those clients from the guy you work for at all.
No.
Because that guy might want to come and book a fishing trip with you or a bear
Yep.
hunt or whatever you do in your off season.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, that's what it's all about, is giving those guys many good experiences throughout the year. Because I know guys that do every hunting trip is a guided experience, and they do 50 a year,
Yeah.
30 a year, all guided trips, all with the same people usually. Your repeat, I think it's all hospitality and tourism too in general. It's your
Yeah.
repeat customers or everything, right? You're running a restaurant, whatever. You need those
Absolutely.
cottagers, you need that repeat customers. You want to have a client base that you know are good. You don't have to worry about shenanigans in your lodge or whatever.
Yeah,
You got
absolutely.
you
Well,
got good guys and good groups. Safety too, right? You know they're safe.
and you had talked about it, and by no means am I making this out to be a bad thing, but when you said that there's a lot of outfits popping up here and there, right? And I don't know how many is popping up out there, and I don't know much about it, but I would hazard to say that some of them are very, they're showing up one day, gone the next, because they don't have the attitude for it, right? They don't have the customer first mentality, or the hey, I better look after my crew mentality, or else I can
Or
have all the
or sorry to
birds.
cut you off too,
Yeah,
or the legal side of it, or they're
well,
just not supposed to be there.
yeah,
That's a
true.
big problem.
Yeah, so let's talk about that, because and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I'll probably mess this up, but when I was in Saskatchewan hunting, the way it worked, at least this is the way I remember it, is in order to be an outfitter in Saskatchewan, you need to own a piece of property in Saskatchewan. So you needed to own a home, or something. You needed to have a piece of real estate. And if you had a piece
Yeah.
of real estate in Saskatchewan, well then that allowed you a certain, I don't know, area around where your real estate was, and then that's where you were allowed to hunt. And if there was other outfitters there, well, then you all sort of kind of shared the same area, but it was a little bit of, well, Joe is down here, so I'm going to stay away from Joe because Joe's got his own thing down there, and I'm up here by myself, so I'll stick around up here. Is that really how it, like, am I saying that right?
Yeah, no, you're pretty close. Like, so you know how the WMUs work in
Yep,
Ontario.
yep.
That you've got your WMU zone. So that's pretty much how it is in Saskatchewan. But so you can own, once you own that chunk of real estate, you can own multiple zones. You can buy
Okay,
in to multiple zones.
okay,
So you have, because of your lodge, you have zone 247. Well, 246 goes for sale beside it to the east. You buy 246. So now you've
okay,
got more range to kind of
okay.
move.
Yep,
But like you said, there back when I started, and it was kind of fading out, and I think it's, to me, it's not where I am in Saskatchewan, but out in Alberta I've noticed it a lot. It's faded out, the camaraderie of the, okay, this guy's been kind of hunting this area for so many years,
yep,
blah blah. But I mean, I get too, you're not having good luck, you might have to go, you own the zone, you're not
yep.
gonna not go use it. So if you got to
Right.
push down, but maybe you talk to them, right? What are the birds doing?
Yeah,
When we work in Saskatchewan, we work with all the outfits around us. We
yeah,
run into them scouting. We see them at breakfast. Oh, you guys got 4 shoots and we have 3 locked up. Our 3 I don't really trust them. What do you
yeah,
got? And like, or I'm going to screw up your hunt. You have something farther away that will push me farther away for sure.
yeah.
I'll go hunt your field farther away.
Right, right,
Like we
right.
all work together in our zones. And I
Okay,
think
that's
that's
cool.
huge game changer for, like, I know some guys in North Dakota that, like, it gets rough. There's
I
nails
bet.
against tires. trailers getting stolen. Just it's like warfare out there. And I mean, there is so much ag
Yeah.
and water property in North America. There's no need to be pushing and shoving over property line.
No, and I agree with you. I agree with you from my throne here in Ontario, where I don't get to take in what you're taking in, but no, you're right. Like uh, I don't know. You know what? I really can't voice an opinion on it because it's not my area and I don't know it. Or it just, to me, it just seems like, well, hey, if Aaron is hunting here, well, I'm just going to stay away from him because I don't need the bullshit in my life of Aaron getting mad at me because I'm too close to him, and I don't want my clients I don't want my clients seeing any friction between me and another outfit. Like I just I wouldn't want that. So I'm gonna
For sure.
try and stay away, and I'll try and help out. That is one of the things that I love, and I love being able to help people out. And so if I can, I love doing it. But uh, especially out there, man, like there's so much. Like it is the prairie pothole region. It is the duck factory, right? Like there's a lot of space out there. And for anybody that's never been to Saskatchewan or Alberta, like you can watch your dog run away for days. Uh,
That is not a joke
that is not
out
a
there.
joke, you know.
There is not an e-collar that makes it from Quill Lake to Regina, and I can tell you that.
That's awesome. But so what are you seeing? What are you seeing the most of right now? Specks and snows?
We actually in our area, we're about south, just 45 minutes south of Edmonton.
Okay,
So we get a lot of spill off birds off the flyway.
okay,
In our good areas, a lot of good roofs up near us. So like Pigeon Lake. But a lot of these birds right now, we're seeing a lot of specks and mallards right now have pushed
okay.
with this big wind. Our Canadas, we kind of lost a bit with the last wave with the storms that we
Mm-hmm.
had, some rain. But the snow geese are just starting to show up in numbers now
Okay,
to us anyway.
okay,
I know down
okay.
south, a bit of us, they're seeing them big, but
Yep,
starting to see the devils in some fields. Like I think I shot 15 or so the other day in the field,
okay.
just randomly come in with some specs.
Yeah, I kind of forgot there for a second that you're in Alberta now and that you're not in Saskatchewan. And the
So yeah,
last
I'll be in Sask here shortly.
and then yeah, so I had some buddies that were out in Saskatchewan last week or the week before, and they were heavy and like
There,
15,000 birds on a field, right? So sent me some
yeah.
video which absolutely got me yeah, I was excited
They
for him
got the itch.
that yeah, I got the itch, and so yeah, I get it, buddy. So what's the plan? So how much longer do you have? So you've got this month for sure. You've got the rest of October. Uh, November, will you start to see a freeze up then?
Yeah, yeah. Like November, we'll start to see like well up here, like Sask between Sask and Alberta, November will likely they'll have snow on the ground 2 weeks in.
Yeah,
Um, I mean late October they'll be seeing that frost layer and that real thick like 1 inch crust in the morning and whatnot.
yeah,
I mean makes for a killer hide, but it sucks if it's slow and you're sitting out there.
yeah.
Um, but November definitely we'll start to see that water start to freeze, and birds start to push out.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll still, I mean, I think there's still going to be a big batch of late migrators, just the way it's been warm all summer, and
Yeah,
they had a good batch. From what I talked to, I talked to a few waterfowl researchers in Northwest Territories on my way home from the fishing lodge.
yeah.
They all said that the berries on the tundra this year are up, and none of it were out of control, and that the snow geese were purple coming out of the berry
Oh
bushes.
wow. Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's a
so
good thing.
that is, but that means to me that means they're gonna hold. There's no reason for them to leave. They'll stay. They would have stayed later.
Yeah, of course.
So
Yeah,
I think we'll have big late migration.
That's great news. It's great news for the outfitters, and it's great news for Canadians, because by that time all the American clients, well, they're chasing the migration down, right? So
Yeah.
they'll already be south of the 49th and following birds down. So if we can keep them up here just a little bit longer, great for us. But I don't know, man. It's always a crapshoot. You never know what they're going to do. I think here in the area that I am in, I think we missed the migration 2 years in a row. I think they came so late that it was just, or they just passed straight over us and they didn't even stop to hang out, right? So it you're trying to outsmart something with the brain the size of a pea, and for some reason they tend to be able to outsmart us every time, and it's amazing really when you think about it.
It seems to never fail. And like I've been fooled by more birds than I care to admit. That's for sure.
That's awesome. Well, buddy, you know what? We're getting close to that 60-minute mark, and that flew by pretty quick. I want to thank you. I wanted to actually, before we go, I do want to bring this up because I thought it was super, super cool that you found us on social media, seen our posts, seen our stuff, and then you reached out to us and said, "Hey, man, I'm an Ontario boy. I'm out west guiding. Um, would you like me to come on and talk about hunting out west?" And I'm like, absolutely, dude. I would love it. And I can't thank you enough for reaching out, because not a lot of people do it. And I think people think what they think that we'll say, well, no, we're not interested, or whatever. Listen, man, like, just shoot us a message if you want to come on the show, and if we can do it, you're going to come on the show, and we'll talk about bird hunting. So I can't thank you enough, man, for reaching out to us and coming on and spending an hour with us.
No, yeah. I mean, it's awesome. I love I mean, I'm always listening to you guys while I'm out scouting or out now. I love listening to the episodes. They're great. Um, I know a buddy of mine that I hang out with quite a bit now back home and do some hunting with was on early when you guys
Yeah,
started out there, like 50 early episodes,
yeah,
50s.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely,
And
man. It is a very small world when you sit back and you think about it, because everybody can connect with somebody somehow through somebody. Like
yeah,
it is crazy. It is such a small world. So
I couldn't believe how close all you guys are. Like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, I've been in Ontario hunting all this time and
oh, buddy,
doing it practically on my own or with few buddies, but
yeah. No, dude. When you're back next fall, we're gonna gear something up. That's for sure.
oh, for sure.
Yeah, 100% we are. We're gonna gear something up, and we're gonna have a ball of a time. Um, and yeah, and you just got to be careful. You might have somebody tagging along with you for most of the season here. So, but Aaron, buddy, thanks so much for coming on. I really do appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you reaching out. I appreciate you listening to the show and liking it and the whole bit. As we usually do, I'll give the last words to you, and we'll call her an episode.
No, yeah, thank you. I mean, thanks for having me on. I mean, it was great to I mean, get a little bit of that guide point of view out. I don't think it's out there like a lot. I don't think a lot
Hmm.
of guys under like know that you can even make a career out of it and that it is a
Mm,
job. And I mean, we always need more guys in it. Like, it's one of those things. It's not a job that everybody's out there seeking. So we always need guys. I mean, I appreciate letting me get on here and bullshit about it for a bit, but
absolutely.
um,
No, and feel free anytime you want to come on, just fire us a message, and we'll have you on. But I think it's important, um for a number of reasons, because I think outfitters are important. I think outfitters dump a ton of money into the local economy. They provide a service that gets, we get so many Americans that come up from south of the border that get to come up and hang out in our country and take advantage of our birds, and you know what, and they in turn spend money in their own DU Delta chapters and the whole bit to try and save that prairie pothole region, right? So everything trickles down, and um so I'm thankful for the outfitters for that, but I'm also thankful for the fact that, listen, it's a job that is not an easy job. Like, I wish I could do it. I really, really wish I could. I wish I could, because I know I couldn't. I know I couldn't. After 2 weeks, I think I'd be burnt out and I'd be just like, man, I just can't do this anymore. Um, so my hat goes off to you and to anybody that's thinking about becoming a guide. Hey, listen, reach out to me. I'll put you in touch with Aaron, and you can ask him any
Yep.
question that you want. And you know what? Go check out Top Gun Outfitters as well. Check those guys out, and let them know that you heard about them on this podcast, and you heard Aaron talking about an 18-year-old kid and being taken under their wing and being looked after. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Union 0430. Not experts. Will never claim to be, just a bunch of dudes that love talking about bird hunting. Surround yourself with good people. Big love. Don't be a douchebag. Until next time.